Meet the first sample of the Fyro Levo Travel Bag. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through the sample. I'm gonna show you how it was made in Vietnam. I'm gonna tell you the things that we're struggling with, and I'm gonna show you what the next steps are in our timeline to get this on the market. And if you like this in-depth look at building a highly technical product from the ground up, be sure to sign up to the Fyro Insider newsletter with the first link in the description, because newsletter subscribers get first access to all the behind-the-scenes stuff. So this is really exciting, guys, because we've been documenting the journey of making our first travel bag, and this is the first sample. Previously to this, we had done the design stage for many, many months. And then last month, we revealed the first mock-up, which is just kind of like a proof of concept. And now this is like our attempt to bring this product to market, but it's still not quite there yet. To get this sample done, I went to Vietnam to the Bag Me HQ in Ho Chi Minh, where we spent a week putting this bag together, testing out new features, making tough decisions, what features need to get cut, what features are gonna stay, and everything in between. And when I first got there, we had some of the pieces assembled, but really we were kind of starting from the beginning. And the cool thing about the Bag Me studio is just like, I don't know, it's the most inspiring place I've ever been. It's just like this group of 10 of the biggest bag nerds that I've ever met. And everyone's working on their own departments to make this sample as perfect as it can be, whether it's from a design perspective, sewing, functionality, overall aesthetics, the whole kit and caboodle. And when I got there, we basically were focused on putting together one panel at a time until we had a front, a middle, and a back. And then the whole thing gets sewn together, gets binded, and then we have a backpack. Now, some of the things we're focusing on particular from the first mock-up to the first sample were testing out this new aesthetic with the seams, which we're gonna talk about in depth in just a second. Implementing all the features. This includes pockets, zippers, hardware, everything that actually makes it a travel bag. And we also aligned the bag with the development of our new sling, and we're gonna break down this sling mock-up in detail next week, so make sure you're subscribed. And what was so cool too was finally seeing our new designers' work come to life, because we also announced this to the Fyro Insider newsletter. We're working with David Huntertmark, who is the co-founder and lead designer of Modern Dayfarer, a backpack brand that I just have so much respect for. They make some of the cleanest and sleekest urban gear out there. So like getting to work with David on these two new bags has been an absolute dream come true. And it's been incredible just to see this entire process and like his vision and like us working with him and just the whole thing start to come to life. So I'm gonna run you through kind of some of the top features and what the next steps are. And the biggest change you might notice is the aesthetic difference. With the first mock-up, we had a cleaner front panel, which I love for how sleek and stealthy it was. But we got a lot of feedback that it was a little reminiscent of just like maybe other brands and just had sort of a silhouette that you've seen before, which is pros and cons with it. So I brought this to our development team's attention, David as well, and we came up with this new front seam aesthetic, which gives the bag a super mean look. And because of the strength of these seams, it actually helps the bag self-stand significantly better and really brings it in line with the design language of the T22, right? With these sort of corner pleats coming in. We got sort of the lid right here and then the center lines coming down the bag. So I like the original version. I like the seam version. I didn't know what to do, so I asked the Fyro Insider newsletter what they thought, and we got hundreds of responses, and I was kind of blown away that like, I'd say 6-to-1, the Fyro community prefers it with the seams, which I'm really excited about. It gives the bag a super professional look. It's got some meanness to it. It's aligned with the T22, but let me know what you think about the seams in the comments below. But now let's go behind the seams, good one, Tav, and talk about some of the top features of the bag. Because remember, it's very important to keep in mind that our number one goal with this bag is to keep it lightweight. And the reason we want to keep it lightweight is, dude, honestly, lightweight travel is just the best. A, it's less pressure on your back, but B, airlines are getting more and more strict about what bags you can bring onto flights. They're literally weighing bags. Going from Hong Kong to Vietnam, they forced me to check my own carry-on bags. It was too heavy. So I'm super proud to announce that at 35 liters capacity, we're at 2.7 pounds with the Fyro Levo bag right now, which is awesome. I'm so freaking stoked about that. But we're not finished. I wanna shave that weight down even a little bit more. So to do that with the next sample, we're gonna be focusing on cutting some features, but let me run you through what we got going on so far. So you can see we got a couple of zipper pockets here. We added compression straps, but I think these things are gonna be bye-bye on the next sample. They're kind of old school, they're unnecessary, they add extra weight. It's all about kind of cutting what we can, because I really wanna hit 35 liters and 2.5 pounds. It also should be noted with the size. It looks like we're probably gonna launch with a 35-liter version because that's what the community has been requesting the most, a carry-on max size, but we're also really looking into a smaller version as well, somewhere between 27 to 30 liters. We're gonna do our best to do both. If you have any preferences for the second size of the travel bag, let me know in the comments below. Now check this out, this is pretty cool. We decided to cut a separate tech compartment in this bag. And reason being, it gives you more capacity in the main compartment and it cuts down on weight. But the one problem with that is that you're gonna have interference when you grab your laptop out of the tech sleeve. So BagMe made this really cool addition where they added a divider right here as to where basically it's like a quarter of a tech sleeve as to where you get the separation at the top. So there's no interference with whatever's being packed in the main compartment. And it allowed us to add an extra pocket, which is currently utilizing a microfiber lining. So it could be a good spot for your sunglasses, reading glasses, or maybe like tech stuff, right? Charger, wires, adapters. I'm really stoked about the addition of this pocket. It just brings the functionality of the bag to like the next level. Obviously the tech compartment has insane padding and this epic false bottom. Currently we're using a double bonded Lycra for this fabric, which is the same fabric if you have a T22, it's being utilized on the shoulder straps and the back panel. But we're also gonna be testing out another fabric that I don't want to announce just yet, but it's pretty cool. I hope we can nail it. It's a little heavy right now, we gotta cut down the weight a little bit. On the back panel, huge emphasis on comfort, chunky shoulder straps, load lifters at the top, sternum strap, plenty of ventilation on the back panel itself, and the addition of a removable hip belt, which as you can see, it still needs a little bit of work, but for a bare bones sort of design, it's definitely getting there, and it's gonna add a lot of comfort to the bag, being able to redistribute the weight from your back to your hips. On a 35-liter travel bag, this is essential. Now, the hip belts definitely need some work. It's a little too long with the slack. We're still working on the attachment point, but as you can see, they'll go ahead and attach here on the actual bag. Very nice, sleek design, but really we're at a point now where, like I said, we're trying to cut features. So you can see with the admin compartment, I think it's a pretty strong start in terms of the organization we got going on here. Sleeve, couple pen pockets, lining pocket, and then 1-2 power mesh pockets. And we definitely got to clean up the presentation a little bit. I don't think it's as clean as it should be for the price point of this bag, which we're still determining, right? But at the end of the day, Fyro is like a premium brand. We make the best freaking gear. So the aesthetic has to match that. But when it comes to cutting, like I'm thinking about cutting this pocket here, one of the back wallet pockets, the internal side pocket, and the tablet sleeve, because the goal is, like I said, 35 liters, 2.5 pounds, and hopefully that gets us there. Now this feature is just sort of a mock-up. We're just testing the proof of concept. You can see it's actually attached via Velcro. So we're gonna try and find a sexier solution to ensure that it flows really well. Tab wants to know why we're doing Velcro. Well, sure, it gives you a little bit of extra versatility, but actually, fun fact from a construction perspective, it's impossible to sew this in, just with the way the bag's made. This is like some witchcraft bag development shit that I don't 100% understand, but trust me, we can't sew it in, so it's either gotta be attached by hardware, magnet, or Velcro. I think we can do better than Velcro though. Let me know in the comments. And I'm also considering cutting the tablet compartment, but tablet users don't worry. The reason being, A, we're trying to cut down on weight, right? But B, we have the tablet sleeve right here. This is a 12-inch iPad. You can see it's super safe and super accessible, so it actually makes a bit more sense to be here. So moving forward, we've got a slot at the BagMe studio to do our next sample at the end of May. So I'm working on a document, literally here on Canva, where I'm mentioning all the things that we're either gonna cut or that we need to fix. So some of the changes that are gonna happen from this sample to the next sample are removing unnecessary pockets, especially the ones with zippers. Trying to figure out a sexier connection point with this new divider section. And this front admin pocket, I think we can definitely improve the functionality of it a little bit, clean up the aesthetic, and maybe even simplify it. I don't know if we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets here. And I do get for a lot of you organization freaks out there, like, you know, it's always more pockets the merrier. But again, we're trying to keep this bag as minimalist as possible. So if you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments below. Oh, and one change that I'm going to absolutely require is we need a little small hanging loop right here, just in case like you're in those airport bathrooms, right? It's a little sketchy, you don't want your bag touching the ground. Little loop right there, could be a lifesaver. And the last thing we'll focus on, just kind of this front aesthetic. It looks like we're gonna go forward with the seams, but we'll kind of test out a few things. What if we come in a little bit softer on the seams? What if we bring the front panel in a little bit tighter? Just slight variations to make sure that we're 100% in love with the aesthetic before we move forward. And we're also gonna be testing out a new fabric. It's gonna be the same 330D Codra that we're using on this bag currently and the Fyro T22. But instead of having the polycarbonate coating on the front and the back, it only has it on the back. so it gives it a little bit of a different aesthetic on the front while still having pretty impressive weather resistance. But dude, really, like, this thing is so close, like 90% of the way there. So any of your suggestions or feedback is always super appreciated and helpful. And definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel because we're going to be revealing the sling next week, giving you a run through. It's really cool where the sling is going. We actually have a few more questions when it comes to the sling. I think the sling is gonna have a little bit more work than it needs. But this is the process. I love sharing this with you guys. Thank you so much for following our journey, and we'll see you next time.